by the words of the great labor organizer, Mother Jones, who's back there behind the room. Mother Jones, who said, and I quote, "The first thing is to raise hell," says I. That's always the first thing you do when you're faced with injustice and you feel powerless. Well, sisters and brothers, for too long we saw injustice and we felt powerless. We saw the great University of California, that beacon of education, science, and healing, treat its workers, the ones who make the university work, at best with indifference, at worst with scorn and abuse. We saw our state legislators slash higher education to the bone. We saw the university neglect its duty as one of the largest employers in the state to be a force for a fair economy. We saw it instead erode the living standards of its lowest paid workers, threatening to move them from the middle class to the ranks of the working poor. Too many of our members for too long were demoralized, detached, afraid to take action. And so we languished during long years with no contract, no raises, and a paralyzing sense of disempowerment. The union in its former incarnation lacked the organization and member strength needed to move forward. So the members made a really smart choice, if you remember, and affiliated with the 1.4 million strong Teamsters Union. It has paid off. It has paid off. We won a great 5-year contract. We have worked wonders in the past year building member power and transforming our union. But we still have much to do to build our strength to where it needs to be. You see, we've got a big problem, and it's not just our problem. It's a problem so big it challenges our whole nation and indeed the world. It's a problem so critical that our president correctly declared it the defining challenge of our times. And that is the vast chasm of inequality growing in our country and the inexorable destruction of the standards of living of the great American middle class. In the past 3.5 decades, the overall wealth of our nation has doubled, as has the productivity of our workers. And yet during that time, real income of working Americans has been entirely flat, has not increased at all, while incomes at the top have skyrocketed. In other words, virtually none of the additional wealth created by our hard work has gone to working Americans, and most of it has gone to the very, very rich few at the top. This explosion in inequality has been devastating to our economy, as President Obama and so many others have observed. And yet, while it is a positive development that the destruction of the middle class has come to the fore in our national public discourse, a glaring omission from the conversation thus far is the very movement that built the middle class in the first place, and the only one that holds the key to rebuilding it, and that is our great labor movement. As Dr. King explained, and I quote, "The labor movement is the principal force that transforms misery and despair into hope and progress. Out of its bold struggles,